Gold Hill City Council, September 28th, 2020. Roll call, please.
Sure. Counselor Rigney.
Here.
Counselor Beachide.
Here.
Counselor Hinckley. She's absent. And Counselor Beachide has her proxy for tonight. Counselor Wilson.
Here.
Counselor Palmer.
Here.
Mayor Studebaker.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Good. Please stand and pledge allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, any public input? Anyone called in, lettered in?
Yes, we do have some call-ins, and Marvin will get them on the line.
Hello, Ms. Oldfield.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay. Just one moment, I'll patch you through to the council. Still there?
Yes, I am.
Can you guys hear me?
Miss Oldfield, can you say something?
Hello, hello?
Okay, that's good. We can hear you.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Are you talking to me?
I am.
I was under the impression this was going to be a typed-in thing to the council.
No, you're speaking to the council. They can all hear you.
Okay, great. Is this the open mic time for the citizens to talk?
It is.
Okay. I wanted to talk about my concern with missing $60,000 from the city of Gold Hill, and I want to know if everyone that is hired and everyone on the council from now on is going to have background checks, and what are your safeguards to prevent this from
Miss
happening
Oldfield,
again?
there is an ongoing police investigation. We can't really talk about that right now.
I'd like to know where you got that information, because that information was not privy to public.
Well, it should be privy to public.
It is not at this time, like our manager Jessica Simpson just said, it's under a police investigation, so that is not to be even talked about until the police come up with the results on that findings.
So this is an active investigation that the city has initiated?
Yes.
Okay,
Can't talk about it.
thank you.
So where did you get your information?
That's all I needed to say, and that's all I needed to hear. Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
Okay, contestant number 1.
Yep. I believe we have one more caller. Cindy Oldfield. I forgot to ask her her street address. Look it up.
Hello. Hi, Marvin.
Hello. We're calling from the city council for public input.
That's me.
Okay, the council should be able to hear you.
Thanks, Marvin.
Please state your name and address.
My name's Christine Alford, and my address is Post Office 66. It's 292 2nd Avenue, Gold Hill, Oregon 97525. I'm going to turn the sound down because the sound is way behind. Like when you're listening, I can't listen to it anyway. So I heard that you say that that was not public information. So is there any place in the audit where the missing funds is recorded?
Again, we can't talk about this. There's an ongoing police investigation.
Okay, thanks. I want to ask you something. I'm directing this to Jessica, but I guess I have to direct it to the mayor. Are you aware that in 2018, the then city manager received 3 requests to investigate fraud in City Hall, and the city manager declined to investigate that because the majority of the council at the time, Palmer, Cannon, Tolman, and Dale, blocked the efforts to investigate and shielded the employees from that scrutiny? Are you aware of those other 3 requests for investigations?
Interesting point you bring up, something we certainly will take a look at. This is not the appropriate time. We simply
Gosh, I wish I could understand what you're saying. It's so blurry. The sound is really bad. Would you like me to just document it and... Jeez. Would you like me to just submit the documentation or something?
Yeah. All right, Ms.
Okay,
Alford,
I'll just do
as
that.
there's a police investigation that's currently in the active status, we are precluded from speaking in a public forum about this. These 2 points that you have both brought up are important. We do want to investigate them. Now is not the time. Thanks for calling in.
Okay.
Anyone else?
That's everyone who signed up.
Okay, public hearing none. 6-1, approval of city council meeting, August 17th. Any corrections, additions to the minutes? Is there a motion to accept them?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from August 17th, 2020.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call.
Counselor Rickney,
Yes.
Counselor Hitchhike,
Yes.
Counselor Hinckley.
Yes.
Counselor Wilson,
Abstain, I wasn't at the meeting.
Counselor Palmer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Good. Council consideration 7-0. Proposed land purchase. Lot number 3800.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Logan Young, and
You just want to pull that mic up
yeah.
towards you.
and I operated the Buddy's Barbecue here at the gas station in Gold Hill. I've expressed interest in the purchase of this tax lot here listed today, and I was just curious what the next move would be from the town, if that's even an option.
Well, I don't see anything in our code that precludes us from selling this lot. We just bought it in the last six years ago. If you would like to direct me to make that happen, or if you want to, I mean, do you have an offer in mind?
Yeah, I can present something to the council. Or-
If that's something you.
Now or later? Can we ask some,
Yes.
what did we buy it for?
You know, I
question.
don't,
How much did we pay for it, and for what purpose did we buy
Right.
it? That's a different
and
question.
I can't find anything in the records on why. Maybe someone out there who's listening knows the story. The only records I can find about this tax lot is I found a violation letter written to the previous owner because he was conducting business out of a storage shed on the spot, and he wasn't allowed to do that. And then the next year, that family trust sold us the property for $12,000 or $14,000. It's very, very tiny square right at the end there. That's it. That's the only information that I can find in the records about it. So I don't know why we bought it. Yes,
What are those actual dimensions? I mean,
they're pretty small.
They're really tiny.
Yeah.
I'd have to take and show you.
yeah, I kind of know where it is, but.
It's a pie shape,
Right,
and it's
yeah,
just
looking
real
at the
small.
map, Right.
For what I know, I talked to Logan, what he wanted to do is he wants to start and put his operation of the barbecue back in that
Right.
area, and
And
so.
would you be in like a mobile vehicle, or are you going to put a building there? Like, what's
I'd
your
like
plan?
to put a mobile unit there.
So you drive away from the lot sometimes?
Possibly, but kind of like how Willie's Burgers is set up.
Okay.
Just
Oh, okay.
simple,
Mhm.
to keep costs low. I would like to.
We must have ordinances or something involving those mobile.
We
units.
absolutely
So-
do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Okay, and is there enough room in this lot for him to be compliant
Right.
with that, I don't know, is there setbacks for those things and stuff like that? Have you looked into that, Logan? Do you know?
I have, as far as I'm aware, there needs to be a concrete pad installed on location. As far as set-asides, I'll have to look with the railroad, being in proximity. I'm not aware of anything else specifically.
And I know you have to have running water.
Correct.
And power, which I know it's already set up for that, or it'd be easy to access that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Plumbing would need to be installed as well.
Yes.
I think there's something in there too about access to a public restroom.
Right, it needs to be within 500 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Temporary restroom wouldn't be sufficient.
Mhm.
Like Willie's has.
Like Willie's.
No, like Willie
Right.
has, yes.
Porta potty?
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm all for that. I mean,
I don't have any objections.
I don't have any objections with that at all.
You know?
Is it something we need to vote on?
Do we
or
just
you?
direct
Yeah,
Jessica to move
if you want to
forward?
direct me to move forward, and then once we have like worked out some details and found out all the rules and regulations, and, you know, we think we've come to agreeable terms, we can bring it back to the council for your approval.
Mhm.
And I would ask maybe we pull up the lot from Jackson County, get the an exact dimensions.
Oh, yeah,
and that sort of
absolutely.
thing. You'll show the last sales price, and maybe chat with our realtor here in town and get evaluation from her on valuation. I think the barbecue was a fantastic
Yeah.
addition to downtown. It created buzz, people were going down there. You know, by the way, it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. We want you back here.
Is there any issue with, like, so that the access for people to drive in there is gonna be the access there at Figaro's, basically? It's that same,
Well, it's the dirt lot, but it's still owned by the same owner
Mhm.
of that whole shopping center. So, yeah, we'd have to get,
So-
there'd have to be permission given from her to drive through her lot.
okay. As
That-
opposed
this is
to
the
putting
same lot that
another
was-
access onto the highway, which I think would probably be problematic.
Yeah, so there's no access from Figaro's. Figaro's has a curb all along that side, so you have to
Okay.
come in through that
Mhm.
highway access.
Okay.
And that lot is the lot that was presented, well, I don't remember when that was,
Yeah.
not too long ago,
For us to buy.
for us to buy.
Mhm.
Right, because it's owned by the owner of the whole shopping center. So there would be some kind of easement have to work out there too.
Right, right. Just, you know, a little concern on my part about the amount of traffic that might be generated right there as you come off the bridge, you know, that it would be people coming and going to the beach and stuff like that.
We really
I
could
see
use a
that getting
crosswalk
little-
there, but
Could use a crosswalk.
it's the
there.
highway, you
I
know,
I
so it's not ours. We
Right.
can't just put in a crosswalk.
Yeah, just a little concerned about the congestion that might happen, but otherwise,
Sure.
you know, I.
But if they can
love
park right
having
there
it.
next to it, then it should, yeah.
Yeah, they're parking on Second, right there. It's just like
Yeah.
a, you know. off-
Would you entertain the thought of
Weekdays.
buying that whole big lot there, including
would.
the parking?
Yeah, I would.
Because maybe that would work out for everybody, since she wanted to sell
Yeah,
her
she
lot
wants to
too.
sell it.
Now you're talking about a
Yeah.
little bit bigger and funner
Sure.
operation too.
Yeah.
but,
But if it makes it a safer channel for cars to traffic, then it's a
Mm-hmm.
win-win for me.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, I'll work everything
Okay,
out with
thank
you,
you.
and then we'll come back to the council when we're ready to present an offer.
Thank you very
Cool.
much.
Good luck, Logan.
7.2, Planning Commission appointments.
Okay, so, I have given you all a list of the applicants. I have a copy of the code book here. I just want to read you a little bit about the rules on who goes on the planning commission before we start this, so it's all fresh in your mind. The planning commission shall consist of 5 positions, which shall be filled by appointment by the mayor with the consent of the council. Planning commission members may be removed by the mayor with the consent of the council. The position shall be numbered, and each member shall be appointed to a specific position. Following the initial appointment, in accordance with the schedule set forth below, appointment shall be for a 3-year term. Now, obviously, it says 1983. It'll be starting from tonight, not from 1983. So there are 5 positions. Commission members shall receive no compensation, but shall be reimbursed for duly authorized expenses. No person shall be appointed to the Planning Commission who is a member of the immediate family of any member of the City Council, Planning Commission, or Citizens Advisory Committee. 1 member of the City Council may serve as a non-voting ex officio member of the Planning Commission, and 1 member of the Planning Commission may reside outside of the city limits. So that would be 4 in-town residents and 1 out-of-town resident. Now, out of the applications I've given you, there are 2 out-of-town residents, so you would pick between one of those, and then the other, other 5 applicants choose 4. So the way this is going to work is it's filled by appointment by the mayor with the consent of the council, so the council will need to agree on who those people are, and then the mayor will appoint them. If you'd like to go all the way out and, you know, have a motion and vote, it does just say consent, so you could just take a majority vote. It's up to you how you want to, you know, call it out. We can do roll call, however you want to do it.
Should we just like go by applicant and?
So,
Okay.
so could we, I guess each of us really can't say yay to 5 people. We kind of have to decide one person we're going to say nay to when the vote goes
Well-
around for each person.
Yeah, so we're going to need to do this by position. So we'll say for position 1, and if you want to, you can discuss it before and decide who your candidates are, and then just put them in the positions in alphabetical order. I mean, it's up to you if you want to just choose from the whole and then appoint them. Or we can say position 1 and go through all the applicants and pick one. Position 2, go through the remaining applicants. I mean,
That might be the easiest.
That sounds, yeah, I think that sounds
Well,
wonderful.
how many in-town applicants?
so
are there?
4 in town, how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 in-town applicants?
And we
And
need-
2 out-of-town applicants. So, yeah, you'll need to choose 4 of the 5 in town and 1 of the 2 out of town.
Okay.
So I would propose, let's first talk about in-town and then out-of-town. And for in-town, why don't we start with, let's just go around and everybody list their top 2 and a couple of reasons why you like them. So for example, for me, Mark Warwick is my top candidate because he has worked in wastewater for 25 or 35 years. He's a super knowledgeable person about it. And he's helped out with educational programs for us, so we know he's committed to helping the process. And then I also like Wendy Brown, who's a new person, but she's worked with this segment of worker bees, administrators, commission people, executives, and line managers. So I think over a long time of experience of hiring these people and evaluating these people, she's got to have learned an awful lot about this stuff. She doesn't have any, per se, public sector experience, but having worked with these people, to me, I think she could give us a 30,000 foot view of what it takes for these people to be successful and having worked with them a lot. Malia, talk to us.
I agree with you about Mark. I also, I think my second choice would probably be Margaret Dials.
Okay.
I just think that she, again, has a different kind of long view that's valuable. She's got, history and knowledge about this city that just goes so deep that those would be my first two.
Okay. Bill?
I have no, other than these little resumes, I don't know these people at all.
Okay.
And I'd really rather abstain and defer to my colleagues' knowledge of these people myself. Just to be honest.
Yeah.
If something comes across as a hair stands up on the back of my neck about something on somebody, I guess I'll have to say something. But other than that, I really don't.
So you don't have a couple of faves?
Yeah, I'd actually, because we had gone through this a little bit before in a previous meeting, I was considering the out-of-town option. I thought about that more than anything else. I didn't think we were going to have more candidates than positions.
A good problem.
Mark isn't, I only have an application for him doing public works and utility advisor.
Right, but we agreed to abolish those and make them part of the
Okay,
planning commission.
that's what I thought.
And I did talk to Mark and confirm with him that he was
Okay.
okay with that change.
I'm for Mark and also Margaret Dials, because I know them both, and they have a lot to bring to the table. They know that they've been around the town, very sharp, smart individuals, as far as the planning commission.
Good.
To Mark for obvious reasons, and Margaret, I like that she wrote on her application that there's time for growth in the city, and she's looking forward to working the growth.
Yes.
And we have so many people that don't want growth. So it's nice to have somebody that wants growth.
You can't stop
And she
it.
has been involved in city
Yeah,
stuff.
she's been
Yes.
And she's been around forever. She brings the institutional knowledge of Gold Hill. That is very valuable.
Very nice.
Okay, can we all then agree that those three should be on?
Two.
Two.
I also, if you want Danielle's input,
Okay.
she sent me a text. All
Yeah.
she said about the in-town people was she has no objections to any of the five.
Okay. So how about Wendy Brown? Did they ever get to take a look at her?
Is she the one?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, the fact that she, plus like what you said about her is good, but she's also invested in the community now because she's buying a lot of property, so I think she'd be a good one to be on.
She's got some skin in the game.
Yeah.
Can we all agree that those are three good ones?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Now we just have one more.
So basically boils down to Ken and Christine.
Yes.
I'll vote for Ken.
I'll vote for Ken.
Tell us why, Ken.
Well,
He's a property owner, he wants the best for our community. Just what he said on his application sounds good. I don't know him personally.
I just, his common sense, basically what's on his application. I like what he put on it.
Ken?
Okay.
Christine.
Christine. And a couple good reasons.
Again, institutional knowledge. She knows a lot about the ordinances, the planning commission, and the planning kinds of rules and regulations. Again, she's invested in the committee, the community, obviously. I don't know Ken, and I'm not terribly impressed with what he wrote there. I think it's pretty vanilla, generic.
And did we hear from Danielle?
So what she said about the 5 in town was, I have no objections to any of that. That's all she said. So I can't say more than that.
So why don't we vote on it?
I think you got pretty much your vote there.
I think you got your 5.
Yeah.
Okay,
So if you just want to read through and say you appoint so-and-so to position 1, so-and-so to position 2, and just
okay.
read them off like
So I'll
that.
take them in the order that I wrote them out here. Position 1, we appoint Mark Warwick. 2, Margaret Dials. 3, Wendy Brown. And 4, Ken Martin. The out-of-town candidates, 2 of them, Ed Cooper and Steve Keesley. Malia, why don't we start with you? Any thoughts there?
My vote would go towards Ed Cooper.
Okay.
I think I've said this before, I have qualms about Steve Keesling in terms of conflict of interest. I know we don't all agree on that, but I still feel like there is somewhat of a conflict of interest there. But I also think that no matter what we do, Steve Keesling's going to be involved, necessarily just because of what he's trying to do with his property. So, the planning commission is going to have to kind of deal with the fallout from whatever decisions he makes.
Well, if it were something that would come before the commission just as my project that I'm working with, that directly financially impacts him, he would have to recuse himself. I don't know of anything, do we know of anything that he's
No,
looking to
plus,
develop?
again, these committees have to come before the council. We're the ones that are driving the bus. So,
But these committees, in this case, commission,
Mhm.
whatever the difference is, these committees are advisory to us, and
Mhm.
but yes, we make the final
we
decision.
make the final decision.
Well, it gives us the opportunity also, Malia, that if there is something glaring, a glaring, land grab by one of the councilmen, it's a great time to call them out right there, and request that the mayor fire him, or her, or whoever it is. That's the best part about that. I like, they give us recommendations, and we say,
Also, I didn't bring page 2, but page 2 says that planning commission members have to recuse themselves if they live within a certain distance of a property that
Right.
is up. And you always have the option to remove a member of the planning commission if you're not satisfied with their one, so.
I would think that the commission will monitor itself, and there's gonna be 5 people, or whatever it is.
and one of us.
And maybe a couple of
There's not
us.
one of us.
And if
A
anyone
non-voting
steps
ex
out-
officio member, if you want, you don't have to.
If anyone
it's
steps
allowed.
out of conflict, they simply say, I don't think it's appropriate, Palmer, for you to be on this, because here's how you would personally benefit from it, and problem solve itself. But if they don't want to do that, then it would come before the council, and the mayor could move to remove the person.
My vote remains for Ed Cooper, and that's Danielle's also.
Okay.
I like Steve Keesling. I've heard a lot about him. I've yet to meet the guy, and I'm impressed with some of the things. I did see him in a meeting one time when I was a civilian, and I was impressed with his presentation and what he wants to do over there. And I don't believe there'll be a conflict there. It's way too blatantly obvious for him to come on.
He's too honest.
Sounds good.
I'm going to lean and vote for Steve Kingsley myself, because I know the man, and he's very sharp. Been here for 20, 30 years. He knows this area, he knows. So for the out-of-towner would be Steve Kingsley for me.
Okay.
Same here. Steve's been involved with people act like the only thing he cares about is the Whitewater Park, but he's been involved with Can Do for years. He's put so much into this community for years and years and years, so I think he'd be a good option.
Well, it sounds like that's a majority, so I'll go with that. I appoint to position number 5, Steve Keesley. And, we would love to have the involvement of both of these candidates. They can always talk in the ear of someone who's on the committee, on the commission, and say, hey, you know, I see that your agenda coming up is dealing with X, Y, Z, here's what I think. Again, there's gonna be turnover, there'll be replacements. So, we appreciate that 7 people did come forward and volunteer to work on this. Please stay engaged, please.
One last thing before we move on. Now that you've set the appointments, I'm going to tentatively schedule a planning commission meeting for October 13th so that we can get them rolling. They're required to meet once a month, so it's the 13th. It's a Tuesday, not a Monday, because of First Nations Day. So.
Is there a quorum requirement for that committee?
So the quorum is that there's a majority. It is not all of them.
Three would have
just,
to be there.
Right.
So just one more thing, now, Mr. Mayor, do you appoint one of the non-voting council members to that committee, or commission as well?
So, I think one of the 5 can be a voting council member, but we haven't gone that direction. Then there's an ex officio that can be sitting in on it. If anyone would like to do that, please let me know right now, and we'll make a decision on that.
Anyone interested?
I'm too busy.
I wouldn't mind just for the learning process. I don't think I want to interfere with it all, but I'd be interested in attending as an ex officio.
So as ex officio, we'd like you to be the liaison to the council, and in addition to reports that would come out of the commission, you will be an important voice, ear of what's
And
going on.
I'll be the one doing all the reports. So.
Oh, you will?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So-
Wait a minute, I don't want to do.
Okay, so
Yeah.
our ex officio council person, council individual will be Malia Bychek. Yes? You good there?
We are all good now.
7.3, resolution regarding the established method of creating committees. So we have 2 other committees, Parks and Ethics. We have a resolution number 11, I believe it is.
Well, we'll start with number 10 first, because you can't pass number 11 unless you pass number 10.
Oh, well, okay, that makes
So,
makes sense.
Resolution 20R10 is the one that we all worked through together and made changes to the original language. This is the resulting document with all of those changes that you approved. Unless you see other changes, this is the way you wanted it written. So, once you approve this resolution, then I have 2 other resolutions, one for the Parks and one for the Ethics Committee. Now, if you'll recall, at the last meeting, you came to a conclusion on what you wanted the rules to be for the Parks Committee, but the Ethics Committee discussion ground to a halt because I believe Councilor Wilson wasn't here, and we wanted to get her input as well. The last notes that I do have said that ethics would be 3 members, all in town, and only one of them could be a counselor. So I wrote it up that way, but we can change that. I just went ahead and drafted one in case you were ready to vote on it tonight. So, but you need to start by approving 20R10, which sets the general rules for all committees.
So given that we sort of pounded through that, do we have any changes to R10 as it's read?
No, we already did that.
Yeah.
So do we need to vote?
Yeah, this is the revised version, so you just need to
So,
vote
are
to
you
approve
gonna
this.
make a motion?
I was going to make a motion that we approve 20R10.
And I'll second.
Moved and seconded, roll call.
Sure. Councilor Bichai.
Yes.
Councilor Palmer.
Yes.
Councilor Hinckley.
Yes.
Councilor Wilson.
Yes.
Councilor Rigney.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Excellent. So now we have our rules as to how we can set up committees. Now R11, Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee.
Right, so the main points of this one are that you agree that the membership shall consist of 7 members, nominated by the mayor and confirmed by the city council, same as what we just did with the planning commission. No more than 2 shall live outside of city limits. Yeah, and other than that, like it says in 20R10, that no more than 2 counselors can be a member? Or is that in this one?
It's in 11.
It's in 11, okay.
Section 3 is the last one. No more than 2.
No,
So
no, I was
five
talking
in-
about counselors, that's no more than 2 shall live outside the
Oh,
city limits.
oh.
I think that was the first one. Yeah, maximum of 2 counselors as members.
So max of 2.
So I know that we've already accepted applications and you already had agreed on who was going to be on the committee, but then we realized that we hadn't done this the correct way. So once this resolution is approved, I will again open an application period for people to apply to be on the Parks Committee. I'm going to keep it short because we've already received a ton of applications, but I will reopen it since we didn't do it the correct way. Our next meeting is October 5th, but that's only a week from now, so if you want to extend it through, I don't know, October 19th, just to give
Yeah.
people a chance to apply.
Mhm.
Other than that, this is what you had agreed to.
Any
So-
objections? 2 inside, maximum of 2 outside the city, and 2 maximum council members.
Does that
A
say that?
7-person.
So it says it in Resolution 20R10 that no committee shall have more than 2 council members.
Oh,
So max of 2 from outside and max of 2 council.
All included in the set.
In the total.
All included in the 7, yes.
Objections, changes, corrections? Is there a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to pass resolution 20R11.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Sure. Counselor Palmer.
Yes.
Counselor Hinckley.
Yes.
Counselor Wilson.
Yes.
Counselor Rigney.
Yes.
Counselor Beachhead.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Excellent. And R12, resolution establishing ethics committee.
So the only thing that's not in here is that you had discussed maybe only there being a max of 1 counselor on this particular committee. It's not written in here, but you can just make that the rule when you appoint them, or we can revise it to add that in specifically.
I would revise it to add it in specifically.
Yes, I would agree.
So, do you want 3 members? Do you all agree that 3 is the number for the ethics committee?
Yes.
So 3 including 1 city council?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we'd be hard pressed to get more than 3.
And everyone has to live within city limits.
Mhm.
So why couldn't someone live outside the city as the other committee allows for outside input?
Because the council agreed that they thought ethics was something that should remain internal. I put that in there because that's what the council wanted.
I think there's always a place for someone from the outside kind of going, hey, you know, that doesn't smell right. They don't have to be guaranteed an outside position, but you can say no more than 1. Again, for the same reasons why I think it makes a lot of sense to have the expertise on the Parks Committee, given that a bunch of them have extensive parks experience.
I think key word there was the council, not the mayor.
I'm sorry, I kind of agree with them though. I don't understand why.
I don't know why we
I mean,
did. I remember we talked about it and we
It'd be kind of nice
passed
actually to have
that.
somebody that didn't know everything.
Who?
I would agree if the committee was bigger, but the
Yeah.
fact that it's only 3, then you got 1 city council, 1 in-town person, 1 out-of-town. So you really only have 1
Right.
citizen.
And there's no guarantee of
Involved.
the city council. That's
Right.
up to
Right,
that person.
okay, but that's basically up to the city council to a point, you know.
So how many applicants do we have?
Now, can the mayor sit in
That's
on
the
that?
other thing.
We have gotten a couple of new applications in from residents,
Oh, good,
both
Good.
in town.
good.
How many does that give us? 5?
2.
2.
'Cause there was 2
Yeah,
applicants.
we've had 2 applicants, yep.
Yeah, see, it's not, I mean, think about it, it's a small town. Who
Yeah.
wants to be investigating your neighbor? People are not gonna volunteer for this.
Yeah,
you
ethics.
know? It's hard, it's gonna be hard to fill these.
Something like that, you would think, like, the mayor would be, I mean, myself personally, I mean, the ethics, that's, you're talking law now on how we act as a professional group.
And that's why I
it's-
think you shouldn't have any
That's why I
council
think-
members
yeah,
on the
it's
ethics
obvious.
committee.
Exactly.
I don't think you
think
should
the
have.
mayor or the city council should be on it at all.
No,
Yeah,
I
because most of the
agree.
time, that's who
That's what
they're-
I'm saying, because
Yes,
that's,
because we're the ones that are gonna
it's
be
law.
investigating,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
And that is the point of an outside advisory committee.
So then
If-
they
Yeah.
wouldn't know.
And I get that.
So 3 people, 1 out-of-towner, no council members.
I'm
I'm
good.
That's
good
better,
with
'cause
that.
At least there's 2 in town.
Yeah, I'm good with that. That's a toughie.
Okay, so,
Three
uh,
members,
this adjusted to allow
no council.
for 1 out of town, a maximum of 1 out of town, 2 in town,
No
and-
councils.
and no councils.
So if you vote to approve that with the changes, then I can go ahead and start re-advertising for this one too, just in case we get more applicants.
So it doesn't have to be 1 out of town, but it may be 1 out of town. Let's be
Maybe 1
clear
out of
about
town,
that.
yes.
Yeah, that's a good call,
Yeah.
Malia.
Maybe 1 out of
So I'll
town.
make a motion to pass resolution 20R12 with the changes. What the list of changes?
If you want to, it's, I've got them all noted.
Okay, with the
The
changes
changes
that I
are
think
that
it-
there's no council members, that there may be 1 out-of-towner.
Yes, maximum of 3.
I second.
Been moved and seconded, roll call.
Sure. Counselor Hinckley,
Yes.
Counselor Wilson,
Yes.
Counselor Rigney,
Yes.
Counselor Beachide,
Yes.
Counselor Palmer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Also, Counselor Hinckley, did you?
He called.
She went first.
Okay. 2 votes. Good, it's passed. 7-4, city attorney evaluation.
So I was asked to put this on the agenda due to the fact that we got a lot of bad information during that public hearing. So it's on the agenda. You guys,
May I speak?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't mean to interrupt you.
no, I was just gonna say, so, you
Yeah,
know,
I-
that's what this is on here for.
I asked to put it on the agenda. We asked the attorney for advice on the planning process, problem, and he gave us bad advice. I mean, he didn't even bother to look it up. He didn't, I mean, it seems like he just kind of blew us off and made us look really incompetent in public, basically, because we made a bad choice based on his bad advice. And I don't have any patience for that. We pay him, and whatever it is, it's way too much. And if he just blows us off and doesn't even bother to look up the ordinance before he gives us advice, and then we stand here in city councils and make a decision that's basically against the law, and we look incompetent, I don't have any patience for that at all. I think we need a new city
I
attorney.
agree with you. What does the contract say that we have with him? Can we terminate him?
I believe we can. I don't think we have.
We don't
Yeah,
have a
it's-
contract.
Oh, we
it's
don't
not-
have a
yeah,
contract?
We
Okay.
just pay him as we use him, so.
Well, maybe we should be looking for someone else, because I agree
Yeah.
with Malia.
Yeah.
That's just, if you're gonna give us bad advice and we make decisions off bad advice, then that's on us.
If you'd
for-
like to direct me to start looking into that, then that's what I'll do.
Jessica, can you find us a new attorney, please?
We need to look for somebody that, it'd be great if it was somebody that lived here, but at least somebody that has
At least somebody that makes
some
an
respect
effort to
for
look at
us,
our code.
right? It doesn't just, it's Gold Hill, blow 'em off, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
So,
Okay?
We'll open up the process.
Will he be notified?
Oh, yes. I am courteous.
thank you, Jessica.
Okay?
Okay, reports from counselors.
So I don't know if this is exactly a report, but it's just something else I wanted to talk about, so I guess it would fit here. In light of, the fires, Phoenix and Talent, I feel absolutely terrified. I mean, we all have, for years about the fire happening like that here, and happening so close, just really brings it to the front. And it occurred to me that we don't have an emergency plan, as far as I know. Apparently, there used to be one. Jessica said you found something in the mailbox or something. But, can you imagine if we had to evacuate this town right away? I mean, we got gridlock, major gridlock. We got the 2 bridges. It just terrifies me. And I think that we really need to have a plan, and we need to have a plan for alerting the citizens. Jessica and I have talked about this a little bit. There's ways to do that,
So-
ways that we can talk about further. but-
Yeah, so I reached out to Fire District 3, and they have the beginnings of a citizen alert system, and they want to come talk to me about it and get us included on it. So I'm still working on that. I've been trying not to bother them while the fires were going
Yeah,
on. but-
easy time for them.
Yeah, but I did reach out to him to see if, even if he had like one of those old rotary sirens, because even if we just had some kind of alert system like that we could let people know, hey, if you hear this, find out what's going on. I've been doing a lot of business outreach with our small businesses because I have all their email addresses, but a lot of people in this town set up their accounts years ago when they still had landlines, and so when they got rid of their landline and switched to a cell phone, they didn't think to call City Hall and update their phone number, so I have lots of out-of-date phone numbers for people. So I'm gonna put something in the new newsletter going out this month, to let people know we wanna do some kind of citizen alert system sign up, and we gotta start somewhere, so.
I don't know if it'd be appropriate for this to be another committee, the safety committee, because it seems like there's a fair amount of work, but if you feel like you can handle the work, then maybe we'll
Well,
just have
I'm
you
gonna
do
start, if
but-
it starts getting out of control, I will
Okay.
ask for help, and
Okay.
Can Do has already offered their help to me.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So.
Yeah, Can-Do's been in touch with me too, and they
Yeah.
wanna be involved, because it affects them too, people on the outskirts in Sardine Creek and Highway
The biggest,
234.
I've already checked on a lot of that because that was one of my concerns, the emergency plan. We don't have one. Fire issue it's imminent. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen here one day, okay? The city of Central Point, since they own the schools are always known as a rally point in case of emergencies, because they have gymnasiums, they can house it. See, we need to put this together so people understand, and then it goes out on the mayor's corner, with the water bill or something, so it's out there, that information needs to be put out there. We have to have caterers, we have to have food, water, all this has to be,
Yeah.
brought into play, and a risk assessment has to be done, especially when it's hot, on
Yeah.
a daily basis. And an early warning devices, like you were saying, they have them on the coast for tsunamis.
Right.
They hear a siren
So,
going off, everybody knows to look out.
Apparently, a few years ago,
And they know the routes.
there was
They know
this
the routes.
company called Alert Wildfire,
Mhm.
and they came in to talk to the valley, but there wasn't much interest in. And actually, when I was cleaning up this office, I just found some paperwork on it, and I was like, wow, this sounds interesting. So I set it aside so I could call them, and then I got an email from RV Cog that said, hey, Alert Wildfire, no one was interested in it a few years ago, but it sounds like everyone's interested now, so they're coming back for another presentation.
Ah,
So I'll
good.
let you know more about that when I
Good,
find
good,
out.
good.
And Jessica and I have talked about this emergency plan, and she's been working on it for a while. So I think this has been quite a focusing exercise of
It has.
what can happen so fast.
I mean, you saw how fast we got gridlocked immediately
Yeah.
when the traffic started passing through here. It's something to think about,
Well, it's not a question of when
right?
or
Yeah,
if,
it's
it's a when now, so that's where we're at.
So again, along that same sort of thing, remember that here in December and January, Fire District 3, actually it's ODF, Department of Forestry and
Just forestry,
Department of Forestry, okay. It's not Forestry and Wildlife?
fish and wildlife.
Fish and Wildlife, okay. It's ODF in this case, but they are going to come and spend a chunk of time creating a barrier up here. Because again, District 3 went through and gave us a heat map of relative risks, high to low. High was about half of the city, and it was extreme risk. And it's predictably everywhere where there's fuel, along the river and along the band with the 5th, 6th, 7th streets coming right up to all of that firewood.
And we are trying to have a community cleanup day once it cools down, and Fire District 3 is gonna come with their bin again, so we can haul off some more biomass.
November 14th, second Saturday, is going to be the community cleanup day. And I think Tony and the crew from the city are going to go in the week before and use big tools. And then we, as people with rakes and weed eaters and all that, we'll be able to work some more. So, again, it's an ongoing thing. The upside is we live in a beautiful mountainous terrain, and the downside is we're surrounded by trees
Yeah.
in a mountainous terrain. So it's
Dry.
something we just gotta come to terms with and get a little more proactive. Our risk next fire season will be a lot less than it is now, but, you know, this makes us realize it ain't going away, and we gotta have an ongoing program, and then life gets easier.
As far as the ongoing program goes, is there gonna be a meeting with the Can-Do people, or is there gonna be a specialized meeting to discuss emergency management and systems like that?
Not anytime soon, but as it all, as we keep working through it, I'm sure there will be.
Okay.
And of course, Ed Cooper is the VP at Can-Do. He's already indicated a willingness to be part of our activities.
He was out fighting these fires.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, he's a great one to use as a resource, and he is our liaison to Can-Do. Anything else that any counselors have been working on?
Right along the lines of the site visit that we had where Cora and Clint, the people that came out to give us a little guidance on our cleanup effort there, they were a little bit indisposed by the fire situation, as you might well understand, and but she sent her condolences that she couldn't fund anything for us, but she could certainly send the help. And I said, well, we understand, of course, and we're going ahead with planning our phases of the cleanup as we speak, and which I'll get together with Tony and Brad and whoever else wants to get together and work out a schedule of what we're going to get done and what we're going to get done.
So they are, what's the whole name of the organization, do you remember?
Soil and Water Conservation District.
So they are a consultant to the county and the governmental agencies. They're a separate entity, but they're kind of the biological experts. And so they're a wonderful resource telling us that in the past, when there have been cleanup efforts along the river, this is what you can do. So they're going to give us the guidance so that we're doing everything right and not hurting our wonderful Roe River.
And Councilor Rigney, did you get the contact information today for the ODFW guy?
I probably have it on me, or maybe it didn't show up on my email just yet.
Oh, no, it was a piece of paper Tony was going to carry to you.
Oh, yes, I got that.
You got that, okay,
Right, and that does simplify matters greatly.
okay.
Anyone else? Department reports?
All right, I have a lot to report because it's been a while since we've been here. So some of this you already know because it's old. I submitted our 5-year plan for TMDL, which is total max daily load, to the DEQ. We're required, because we are on a river, to have a plan on what we're doing to keep basically garbage from getting in the river, you know, keeping our storm drains clean, erosion control, things like that. So I submitted our 5-year plan to them and they accepted it, so yay. That's something that the city of Gold Hill has been lacking on. We almost got fined last year because we didn't get our report into them in time. So I'm ahead of the curve. They've approved the plan, so we're just gonna keep moving on there and working on the things they've asked us to work on. Water meters, some of the new water meters have already gone in. So far we've received 331 from the city of Jacksonville, and they're so much nicer than the ones we have now. They are going to require a little bit of modification, so we've been working with our vendor to get the pieces that we need. Basically, all of the lids to the meter boxes have to have a hole drilled in them because these are touch meters. So there's like a sensor that comes up through the thing, and then we have this big long wand that we just walk up and touch it. So we're having to modify the lids. The software is on back order, and it's COVID related. I'm sure you've heard lots of suppliers are having trouble getting resources because the supply chain just got crushed. So we don't have the software in, however, that is not preventing us from putting the meters in the ground because we can still manually read them in the meantime. But they are going in. We started with the list of people in town who had broken meters. Those are some of the first ones we're doing. And as we get the meter lid modifications done, more and more will go in. You know, we couldn't afford to hire an outside contractor, so Tony and Shannon have a plan, and they're just doing them themselves one at a time. But it is happening. We should be getting some more meters from Jacksonville. I don't know exact quantities yet, but I mean, 331 is the bulk of the town at this point. We have about 560 total, so yeah, we're moving right along on that project.
Question?
Yep.
So the software that's in arrears right now, guesstimate as to,
No idea. Just no idea. Yeah.
I wonder how software's back.
Well, it's not the software. It's the hardware. It's the wand itself.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the hardware
okay.
it's the electronics inside that. Yeah, the
and
software's
that was
ready to go.
sourced-
Yeah.
Sourced somewhere that now is.
Right, and now it's backed up. Yep. RBSS came in and did those sewer and paving jobs on Fifth Avenue and Riverside. Those are all done and complete. Like I said, old news. It's been done for a while, but it is done. Tony made it a project to get the boat ramp outhouse back in working order again, and it is done, along with Shannon's help. If you haven't been down there to see it, it's so cute.
It is. It's nice.
They did a good job, and now there is a functioning bathroom down by the boat ramp again. The Marine Board grant that I applied for the other bathrooms at Tillamook Falls, they have decided not to grant me the money, but they did not deny it. The reason they turned it down was because the Marine Board is mostly concerned with river use, and that parking lot is used by a lot of bikers and walkers, and so it doesn't quite meet their criteria. However, if I can get funding from someone else, like a state park grant of some kind, they will be interested in doing some matching with me. So they didn't deny it, they just deferred it, but that was their reason for that. So I'm just bummed about that. But it's still out there, still could happen in the future. I just have to come up with some more money from somebody else. You may have seen when you walked in, and a lot of people have seen now, once we closed the city hall to the public for COVID, poor Dwayne has been having to handle all the business through the mail slot. And, COVID's not going anywhere anytime soon. And our whole world has changed. We don't know when it's changing back. So Shannon has put in a new window in the foyer there. So now our doors are open again, but only into the foyer. But now we have an actual window that we can do business through. So we can handle the public coming in again and not through a mail slot this big. So thanks to Shannon for doing that. It looks really nice. Check it out on your way out the door. I've got the Christmas wreath here. So since I got the electrical outlets installed on the power poles downtown, they upgraded the lights that are on the Christmas wreath. I don't know if I can run the extension cord over there with all the computer plugged in, but they are so much brighter, these new lights are. I wish I could turn them on for you. So these are going to be going in.
These are ours, the city's?
No.
Well, they belong to Can Do. They
Oh,
belong
okay.
to Can Do, but these are the ones that are going on the poles. We're repurposing the old lights. I think they're gonna go in the planners. There's all kinds of plans. One of the big new things we're gonna add that you'll also see in the newsletter, we're gonna have a house decorating contest and a business decorating contest so that everyone in town can vote. Something that we talked about, if you approve of it, possibly giving the winner a break on their utility bill as a prize, rather than just, we always just get goodies, but this is a real goodie, right? So something to consider that's been tossed around as an idea for the prize
What
is,
about the businesses that don't have a water bill?
oh, that's true.
I think a free turkey.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll win it and I don't have water.
Or ham or something.
So we're gonna do residents and businesses, and I've already been playing around with the Google map and created it, so we're gonna have a map right on the webpage. I haven't told you this yet, Marvin. We're gonna have a map right on the webpage, so as people tell me they want their house to be in the competition, I'll be able to put their house right on the map, and you can go to our webpage and you can see where all the houses are in town and are decorated, so that you can go and, do a cruise through town and look at all of the houses.
So holiday decoration.
Holiday decorations, yep. So, yeah, that's coming. We still haven't worked out all the details on that, but I wanted to give you a heads up. That is something we're gonna try and do this year. Yeah. I already told you about the business outreach. It's worked out really well. I was collecting email addresses from the businesses just so that when it came time to renew licenses next year, we could do it electronically. But then I got an email from the governor saying that she was giving out free masks and gloves to all small businesses. So I was like, this is a good chance. Especially, it's just been sticking in my craw that people are saying that City Hall doesn't care about small businesses, you know, 'cause it's not true. This is our town. We're all one family. You know, we even butt heads like family, don't we? So I used the opportunity to try out my email list and let them know. And in fact, one of the people who came up today for the grant meeting said that she had gotten the mask and gloves, so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I never get emails from you, it's not my business.
Yeah, I have a different address for you, for your address, for your, yeah, but I'll check with you on that. Yeah, so I got a bunch of bounce backs, but a lot of them went through, and through the bounce backs, we were able to figure out who we were missing, who we had typos, and we had a full list. And so last week, I sent out an email letting all the small businesses know that So Ready was gonna be in the library park today to talk about the grant money for COVID. And it was great, we had a good turnout. 6 different businesses showed up, and 2 had already applied. So, yeah, it was a good meeting today.
So we actually heard about a second grant program. This was the Micro Loan Small Business Administration that was announced in June. Finally have the plan in place to execute it. And then there's a second from Jackson County, a matching program. So between the 2 of them, it's a fair amount of money. So again, if you know of anyone who's got a small business in town was impacted by COVID,
Or even out of town, that county money is for the whole county.
so there you have it. Smart on our part, make sure we get our piece of the pie.
The last thing on my list, it kind of got put to the side because we had our last meeting canceled, but we still are working on a new engineer of record. The application deadline passed, and I received 4 applicants, and I've already talked to them all and told them, look, we just have had delays with people out of town and the fires, and they understand, but we do need to schedule an executive session for you to get together and go over the packets that they've given us, to set up interview questions and to schedule the interviews, because that's the next step. Along those lines, I've spoken with Mark Warwick, and he is happy to sit in on the interviews, and any kind of advice you want from him, he is fully prepared to participate however you need him. So I know you don't normally like to stack meetings, so we can either schedule it to stack it in front of the next council meeting on next Monday, or we can schedule it for some other date and time, but I do want to schedule that sooner rather than later because we are behind our timeline on that RFQ.
And why do we have another meeting next Monday?
Because it's the first, that's when we always have them, yeah.
So what are we trying to schedule?
So I'm going to schedule an executive session so that I can hand out, well, and I can give them to you now, whatever. I have the packets of their responses. It's basically their application, but each one of their applications is like 15 pages long, and it goes into great detail. So, you know, you need time to review those packets, and then we need to formulate our list of interview questions, and then schedule the interviews. There's normally, you know, a finalist, pre-finalist stage, but with only 4 applicants, I think you should, and they're all great, I think you should interview all 4 of them.
Given how important this is, I think we should get on it sooner rather than later.
Stacking the meetings is fine with me.
Yeah. I mean, October 5 is going to be a short meeting anyhow. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going to be on the agenda for it right now. There's nothing, so. So do you want to come in at 5 o'clock then? I think an hour.
On the 5th?
Yeah,
Yes.
on the 5th.
And then the next one's the 19th?
And then the next one's the 19th.
Okay. I'm all for coming in early.
Okay. And we can always continue it if we don't get through the whole thing before the council meeting starts, but we need to at least get started on it because we've got to get that process done. Oh, that reminds me, we are under the MAO from the DEQ. That was set to expire at the end of this year, but there's no way we're going to pick an engineer and have them design a whole new whatever by the end of the year. So I asked them for an extension a couple of months ago. They just got back to me, and they are going to give it to us. I just have to do a little bit more paperwork to get it officially, but they've contacted me and told me they will give us an extension because they see that we are making progress, so.
Cool.
Again, with the engineer being right front and center on the DEQ plans, it's sooner rather than later. That's the rate limiting step. Until we get that person, nothing else can move ahead with DEQ.
Right, exactly. Okay, well then I will notice that for October 5th at 5 PM. It will be an executive session because the candidates' proposals are confidential information until we're done with the interview process. So that's why it's an executive session and not a work session. That is everything I have to report to you.
Done?
Going. Good meeting, meeting's adjourned.
If any of you would like to get those packets from